Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Rhett, if you could go ahead and advance one slide. We're going to go through a brief overview presentation and intersperse this with product demos. Rhett's going to be doing most of this, but I wanted to take just a moment and tell you a little bit about ZY Solutions and ZY Connect, who's hosting the event today. ZY Solutions, based in the Chicagoland area, has been delivering CRM solutions for over 10 years, and we focus mostly on emerging enterprise and small business deployments, although we do have a number of Fortune 500 deployments that we've done as well. We do have a very strong and extensive team of certified CRM professionals on our team and help bring best practices to the various CRM deployments that we deliver for our clients. We also have a lot of experience at systems integration, so tying CRM capabilities in with a variety of different business systems that companies may have in place is something that organization can deal with very effectively. If you look at ZY Solutions and how we're made up, there's 4 core business units within the organization. We're talking primarily about ZY Connect today, and in that world we focus specifically on CRM solution deployment and integration solutions, enterprise application integration solutions to help consolidate data sources, streamline communication channels, help collaboration between different parts of an organization and between our clients and their external parties. The other 3 parts of ZY Solutions focus on different technology or creative components of what we offer. ZY Vision is primarily focused on business intelligence, ZY Assets, mostly on managing the assets of an IT environment, servers, workstations, and networks, and things of that sort. And ZY Media helps with the marketing capabilities and custom design services. So bringing these 4 different parts of our organization together really allow us to deliver something much more powerful than just focusing on one area or another area. So that's a little bit about ZY Solutions. I'm going to turn this over to Rhett now, have him talk a little bit about his organization, and then carry it through the presentation and demo. Rhett?
Thanks so much. I appreciate that introduction, and we're so happy to be on today with our partner, ZY Solutions. Could I just get confirmation that my voice is coming through okay and that the slide is actually on the CoreMotives slide for everyone?
It looks good, Rhett.
Okay, thanks so much, Corinne. I appreciate that. Okay, CoreMotives is a marketing automation company with over 700 Microsoft Dynamics CRM clients across 32 countries using our marketing automation solution. We are 100% focused on the Microsoft Dynamics CRM product, meaning that anyone that would use our solution, it would actually be embedded inside the Microsoft product. There are over 2 million users of the Microsoft CRM product around the world, so it's a very broad and rapidly expanding CRM solution. And if you look at all of the analyst reports, Microsoft is positioned very well for continued growth, and so that's why we have selected pure focus on the Microsoft product. We are experts at that solution, having worked with it for almost 10 years. Personally, I have implemented the Dynamics CRM product in 12 countries around the world, including Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and North America. My original role, I guess I would say it that way, within the Microsoft product was as a marketing director. So marketing is really the forte where we focus and where we help deliver excellence for our clients. Some of the clients that are listed here on the slide that you're seeing would be large financial services institutions such as Barclays Capital. They actually have 11,000 seats of the Microsoft product. And then some other people you might know, like the New Jersey Devils, and we recently acquired the New York Jets as a client, and many other different organizations like that. All of these firms use our product to create and execute marketing campaigns, and they do this across a really wide variety of the asset channel. And I'm talking about how we would take a message and go to market to support the awareness of a product or service, and then how that would really translate into the actual, say, sales team that would need to take that information and bring that forward into a revenue for our company. So the way that all of us promote a marketing initiative varies. It could be through our website, through ever more popular social media, and then just general things like AdWords or more classic direct digital marketing, such as email. All of those things, us marketers really use those channels to get the word out. But what's difficult for most of us to understand is what the reception of that message. What level of engagement are we achieving? And how do we take that down from, let's just say, a broad email campaign that might go to 300,000 people? How do we pare that down into focus for those that were actually engaged in link click-throughs that led to our website? That type of thing is what the CoreMotives solution is really good at. So what I just alluded to was a scenario of the website, and web analytics is a great, amazing tool that many of us are using. But the question often comes up, what more can I gain, and how much more power is there if I really knew things such as the person that was actually visiting us? What company do they work for? And then being able to correlate that against where that person might already be in a buying cycle. For example, if someone is on your website at a specific moment in time, and that particular person might be in a very large deal that you are working as a sales opportunity in CRM, wouldn't it be great to know that? Wouldn't it be great for a salesperson, for example, to receive an immediate notification of that level of activity so that they could have instant feedback that's appropriate and relevant about that visit? We call that level of engagement and interaction, the ability to detect and track and target that, we call that web intelligence. So that's one of the first things that I'm actually going to show you. And let me set that up for a moment. The way that I want to set that up is what I have on the screen is a screen capture from a Bing search. And this is a scenario where a lot of people actually will search online. Almost everyone, I could say, would try to get that initial product information from the web. And more commonly, people are doing this from social media. So they might hear something on Facebook or see a post on Twitter or LinkedIn, something like that, that would cause them to do a search and investigate more on their own. And when they do search, obviously what we want is we want them to land on our pages, and we want them to investigate information about our offering. Through this process, what we call a digital footprint, so that's really being created through that process. So that digital footprint is very powerful information that we as an organization can use to be more relevant, more timely, and things of that nature. What the CoreMotives solution will do is it will capture that search and that visit process back into CRM, and it will surface that information to your team. So that allows your team to follow up with the right information and to do so quickly. I was reading a study recently that said that leads that are not followed up on within a 24-hour period have a 53% less chance of achieving conversion. So if you are not able to recognize when people are exhibiting buying behavior and convert that into some type of action with those people, you might not get another chance. And most definitely, all of us are in a more competitive business environment today than we were when the economy was booming a few years ago. So we need to be as effective as possible in these situations. And having the proper tools in place really does make all of that come into play. So let me give you an example of what I just had on the screen. I will change to Bing, and I will do a search. So I will do a search for CoreMotives Web Intelligence, and that takes me to a page on Bing. And from here, I will click a link. And in my scenario, I did not actually click an AdWord, but I could have. And I'll tell you a bit more about that later. So when a person does that type of a search, and in this case, they land, in my example, on CoreMotives.com, what they might do is move over to a web video of some kind, or possibly they would actually download an element from our website, like what I'm just doing, clicking that PDF link, which pops open my option to download a zip file. So that's true engagement. That is an expression of interest that I have on very specific elements on my website. So what CoreMotives will do is enable you to see that and see precisely who the person is that's visiting the website, what elements are they engaged with, and like in this case, the video and the download. So let's look at that. Okay, so now what I have open is Microsoft CRM 2011, and I'm actually showing you something that's very relevant to me personally. This is my own dashboard in CRM. And my dashboard contains many different elements that are important to me. That's what's so nice about the CRM product. For example, I have a grid at the top left corner of this dashboard that represents email marketing campaigns that are generating the most link click-throughs. So I've got a real-time feed that's showing me, okay, the information that people are most interested in and clicking through at the moment is about our training website. So, pardon me, people that want a real deep view into certain specific information are those that are most engaged with that. The other side shows me just some campaign response data. I also have some view into my web form submissions. So all of these things, email marketing, general campaign responses, web form submissions, these are all things that the CoreMotives solution makes possible in CRM. And I can see, even through to web session information, I can see all of that data right here in real time on my dashboard. And you'll notice that what I just did is I clicked the little refresh button. It might be a little difficult for you to see, Corinne. You could even give me a bit of feedback if I need to zoom in a bit. But once I refreshed that grid view, notice that my name appeared red. And it's showing 3 pages for a duration of 31 seconds. So this is really web intelligence in action. And that is coming from the CoreMotives solution, having a tracking script placed on our web pages, and all of our customers get this tracking script that they can apply to all of their web pages, or maybe specific product pages, or possibly even just certain special offers that they want to track conversion. So you'll notice my lead score is here. I can even just click directly from there, and this takes me right to my CRM contact card. I've got a lot of data that's immediately visible to me, including my LinkedIn profile, phone number, email address. Scrolling down, I can even see some of my most recent Twitter posts. And if I want to get over into that web page view data that I was just showing you guys, you can see here we are at 11:13 a.m. this morning, the web intelligence page landing, the video page landing, and the link click for the PDF download. So this is a tremendous amount of intelligence that's being enabled by the CoreMotives product, and web intelligence provides very rapid insight. And even things that the marketers want to know, such as what keywords are people using to find us? Should I be including a AdWord presence on Bing or only just Google? Well, where are my visitors coming from? So that kind of data is great, and the fact that CoreMotives is correlating that against CRM records means that it's a far more precise way to be engaged with people than just high-level analytic data that might show during the last 4 weeks I had 22% of people at my product pages from China. That's a common like Google Analytics type of information, but CoreMotives takes that down to a much deeper level by correlating this against your CRM visitors. If I highlight one more thing that's interesting about this particular web page view that I'm looking at, you'll notice that the visit type was classified as a search because that's what I did. Now, if I had landed on CoreMotives.com as a result of an email marketing message, let's just say that we use the CoreMotives tool to promote a product or an event, and we sent out a large message, and from that, a certain number of people were clicking and coming back to our site. That's a lot of that information is something that typically marketers really want to know, that kind of data, and especially salespeople. They want to know, where should I be focusing? And they always want to focus on the hot leads, the low-hanging fruit, and your ability as a marketer to prove your worth is many times tied to your ability to help generate that for your sales team and also prove to your management team. Well, this tool is something that can be turned on in about 15 minutes inside Microsoft CRM and enable this level of insight very, very quickly for your team. So that's part of why so many people buy our product, is that they can understand the impact of social media or like I said, email marketing, or even just direct search. So beyond some of the columns and rows of data that you're seeing here, what's really important many times is to score that behavior and understand in some way how can we kind of normalize a lot of this almost chatter, if you will, that we are achieving through different marketing initiatives. And if I look at the record, you'll notice that I have a lead score tab, and I was showing you that earlier in a grid view, but this is where the lead score is on my contact record. The number is 539, and what that's an aggregation of my explicit interaction. I'll move to settings and click on the lead scoring tab and just pull that down for a moment. And that's going to load my CoreMotives lead score settings. So you can see this is very simple, and it just allows me to enter a numeric value for each page view or each web form that is submitted. I'm talking about form submissions for newsletter signups or webinar signups or training program signups, any kind of lead capture that you might want to have in your organization. Then we allow you to score those submissions, and it just helps with nurturing those leads forward, because when a score, you can have a rule that says when a score reaches 100, I want to trigger a notification to the account manager via email to go and check this out further. Or maybe it goes to an inside salesperson, and that inside salesperson's role is to research that lead a bit more, and then when appropriate, hand it off to an account manager. So this is a simple way that you can leverage scoring to enhance your internal process and help go beyond just like, oh, I think I should focus on this product area or this territory today. Instead of that, why not let's focus on those with explicit behavior that we are able to recognize. I even have a dashboard that's purely devoted to lead scoring. Let me just pull that up for a moment. This is my own personal dashboard, so you know, it means a lot to me because I look at it on a daily basis, and each one of you might want to cut your view slightly differently. CRM gives you that capability. You'll notice that I am at the top of my recent lead score sessions, but I also have a lot of other Some of these are anonymous. Some of these are known. They vary. I can split this by prospects and partners versus customers, all kinds of different ways that I can look at my data, even all the way down to recent email link clicks. So the data is visible to us from the high level, plus all the way down into the click level as well. Okay, so that's a lot about web intelligence. I could go more into the social media aspect of that, but we don't have time to go through everything, so I can quickly just flip to a dashboard that is showing my inbound activity coming into our website from Facebook, from Twitter, from LinkedIn, and even some social comments that are going on that I might want to be paying attention to. I just clicked that link that was in the CoreMotives CRM dashboard, and that immediately took me to the LinkedIn page where this conversation is going on right now. Now, I might want to comment myself here. Maybe I want to contact one of my advocate customers and have them comment so that the trust factor is a bit higher. But without a tool like the CoreMotives suite, you're not going to even know that this is occurring in the market. Well, you might, maybe I should say, you may have to use a multitude of different tools to be able to get the same information. And of course, that's harder to manage and thus more expensive. So let's talk a bit next about email marketing, because that's such a core component of the CoreMotives marketing suite. So in doing that, what I'm going to do is just switch my slide about email marketing. Now, typically, most companies that we speak with, they have some sort of email marketing system in place, but it's outside of CRM. So they're managing multiple databases, multiple lists. When people sign up in one system, then someone has to try and get that over into CRM, and naturally that's going to create, error-prone and delays. Plus, once you send out a campaign, if you're doing all of that manually, then you're really kind of, subject to the gatekeeper of those statistics. Typically, only one or two people might have access to that external email system, and so there becomes a lot of Excel documents that get sent around, and reports from yesterday in email are stale and outdated, and another report has to be sent today. And of course, that behavior, I call it the bird nest, because it gets to be so challenging for an organization. And having worked in many environments like that in my youth, I personally have a lot of experience with how difficult this can be to manage. So what we've done to eliminate all of this pain around communicating with our market and understanding how well is our message being received is that we've put this whole process right inside the customer relationship management tool. So that means that you might have lists of contacts, and you would want to segment those by a product or geography or some other method. Well, you can do that in CRM very quickly, and CoreMotives uses that data when you're sending out a campaign blast. And then, as people are interacting with that message, the feedback of the clicks and the opens and the page landings and the bounces and the unsubscriptions, every bit of that flows right back into CRM and is managed automatically for you. You saw an example of me showing a link click on a website earlier and how that data comes back. Well, the email marketing information is really the exact same way. It's very nice and fast, and you get that full loop view of, okay, who got my email, who clicked, and what was that downstream web journey that they might have made. Every bit of that is right back inside CRM. so that if you wanted to create a remarketing campaign focusing only on those that were engaged, you can do that. You've got the data right there. And this just enables a higher level of automation and professionalism for us as marketers, and the ability for us to deliver value to our prospects and customers. Pardon me, I have a little bit of a cough, so pardon my voice. Okay, so let's take a look at this inside CRM and what does it mean to be able to email from there. One of the ways that I might show this is right from a single contact. And CoreMotives offers a very simple way to click the little button that I just clicked for send a tracked email. And this is an email where we can store away template examples. I can show something a little more interesting by picking a dynamic example. And once I select that from the list, then my email message content will automatically populate. And in this particular case, I'm populating a dynamic content email template, which will be reading the fields on the CRM record. And from there, it will send the appropriate content of the message. Okay. Now, another way to do this is to send bulk messages. So I just wanted to highlight to you that you can send one-off messages, or you can send bulk email marketing messages. Now, by bulk, I mean we might have a list of all of our customers that are in Chicago that have spent in excess of $100,000 with us within the last quarter. And we want to target them with a new product offer. And you'll notice that once we send an email, we can clearly see how many people opened that, how many bounced, how many unsubscribed, what was the parent campaign, all of that kind of data. And we can drill into that for more detail, where we open the email that was sent, and from there we see the actual HTML content of that message. Plus, we can see the statistics from that particular campaign in a graph, a bar graph and pie graph that shows us precisely what it is about that was performing well or underperforming. So in this particular case, this message received a 26.9% open rate. And if I wanted to drill into the specific people that had opened or clicked or something like that, and if I wanted to see which one of those was using an iPhone when they opened my message so that it might give me more feedback on how I would like to format my messages going forward, I've got all of that data. I can filter this specifically into things like hard bounces where the email address was bad. And in that case, a bad email address will be returned to CRM against, let's just say, Bill Walker. And when I click on Bill's record and I move to his Preferences tab, I can very easily see that he has been set to Do Not Allow Bulk Email. And that's been done automatically by the CoreMotives solution. So then in the next time when you were to scrape your database for a list of names that fit a criteria and you send an email, we will take care of omitting Bill because we know that Bill's email address is bad. And that's very good for you as an organization in terms of what's called your spam score, your spam sending score, your reputation. We're going to help protect that because you're not going to be sending to invalid email addresses, which the spam organizations are actually watching you for things like that. So we help your overall mailing performance based on that. Now, if we wanted to instead create a message, we can do that very easily as well. You'll notice that this is a draft message, and this has the ability for me to pick which marketing list I want. I can apply a subscription to that, and the subscription means that maybe I only want people that have opted in to receive this message, and that subscription will act like a filter. So the full opt-in, opt-out process is also managed with the CoreMotives tool. So if I move down to my HTML content, you'll notice I've got a little bit of something here already, but we have a template library. Either you use your own templates and save them away so that they become available for future use, just like this list that you see here, or straight out of the box, there's a system samples folder, and you can select a system sample that you like and just insert that and start editing. Very, very simple. And if you want to include CRM fields, all of your custom fields and standard fields will be available. I think I added a custom field not long ago that's called, let's just see, I've got a LinkedIn example here. There, so I can just select that and it will automatically put in my custom field for LinkedIn. That's maybe not the most appropriate example. Typically, you would do something like first name there, but of course that's available. I was just showing something a little more specific. And you could even put in social sharing icons very easily so that you've got a way to make sure that your message has the capability of going viral. So all of these things are built right in, and it's easy for you to use your existing templates or you to paste in your own HTML or use our templates. And there's a simple test facility to email yourself a test. There's a validation facility so that you can check your email to make sure how it might look on an iPad or a BlackBerry or any of those types of devices. So I'm just pulling open a validation that I've run in the past. And let me click on this iPhone view. So I will get a preview of my email as it would appear on an iPhone. And then I can flip through the various options or scroll up and down inside what this message would actually look like on the iPhone. Here's the iPad. Here's Hotmail. Here's Gmail, things like that. If I'm a brand manager and I'm sending out messages to thousands of my customers, I definitely want the ability to understand how does my brand appear when it arrives at my client's device. And this facility is built in and very easy to use, giving you that information, plus a full spam analysis to understand how you're going to fare against all of the different spam filters that are out in the market. And this will show me what is the spam score of this specific message and where is it passing and where is it failing. So again, it's very easy to generate a blast bulk email send. There's no limit on this. Clients like the New Jersey Devils or the Prudential Center where they're housed, if there's a Bon Jovi concert or something like that going on, they use our tool all the time, and they'll email information about tickets, and so they might blast this to several 100,000 people at one go, no problem at all. Or many of our clients would just need to send 10 or 20 emails at a time to a selected group. That also works. Okay, so let me pause for just a moment. The one thing that I would like to show you is the way that in CRM there's the concept of a marketing list. So I can just click on the marketing list tab, and maybe I have a list of customers where I want to send a notification out to my customer list. In this particular case, I will just show you how you can very easily send a bulk email right to a marketing list. So I will just click this little button right at the top of my marketing list. And what that does is it gives me the ability to pop open Outlook. And from Outlook, I can craft my email message and send it from there. Now, the reason that I make that point is that a lot of you are very comfortable working in Outlook, and you want a very simple way to include images and include some type of content that where you know how to do that yourself. So let me just go and let me just grab a picture. I'm going to just show you how easy this is. I'll take a photograph that I have, and I'll take a real quick screen capture of that. That's from one of our trade shows. And I'll just pop that in to my Outlook message. And then maybe I want to add some cool effects to that and change the size. But I think you get the idea that I can, with one click, there's an approval process in between, of course, to make sure that you don't accidentally send this to 5,000 people that you might not want to. But this enables me to leverage the power of CRM and the power of Outlook to very quickly email a message that I can craft right from a place where I'm very comfortable. Okay, so that's the power of what we call the mailgun feature. All right, so the next thing that I want to show you is, move past these slides, is about web form capture. And web form capture means that you would have a place on your website where people could submit information, signing up for events or just general contact forms or product inquiry forms. What we do with our web form feature is when people fill out a form like that, we will create the CRM record automatically for you. We will also deduplicate that and give you control over, do you want to create a lead or do you want to create a contact? What is it that you really want to do? There's a very convenient and simple web form builder that makes it possible to create these forms in just a matter of minutes. And most people that work with our form tool are amazed just how easy it is to use that to create a form. So let's show you something very specific about that. So I will go back to CRM and I will click on the Web Forms tab. So notice again that these are CoreMotives elements. The standard CRM does not contain an email marketing group or a web content group, but when the CoreMotives solution is installed, these things just appear. And once they appear, you can use them however you wish. I've got a little example right here. I'll pop open that example so that I can show you the form builder. So this is the form builder that was in the slide just a moment ago. And I have the capability to add labels to this. I had a label on that, but I will simply change it to a new label. Or on the right, maybe I want to add a field, and maybe I want to add a CRM pick list. So this can be very challenging for most people, and most people would have to involve a web developer or their IT department to do this. But let's just say that I want to add a CRM pick list that would contain something like the relationship type of a lead. So once I select lead.relationship type, all of those values are automatically pulled back from CRM and made available in a little drop down. So anybody in your team that has the web intelligence security role that CoreMotives gives you when you install our product, whomever you allow to have that role has the ability to create these kinds of things, such as these web forms. So in this particular case, I'll just call this okay, and then let me just click save. And this will be updating the form, my example form, with the new items that I have recently added. And there's a handy little preview button. I can just click preview there, and there's my form with ZY Solutions. And there's the relationship type that will map that data automatically back into CRM and populate that. But you'll see we've got things like radio buttons and tick boxes and pick lists and even a way to upload files and have a handy little CAPTCHA on the form that's really won't let the form be submitted until the CAPTCHA is unlocked. That prevents a bot of some type or a computer attack from populating CRM because this must be opened by a human. And I can leverage this form on a landing page. I can control that kind of loud and ugly background color that I have going, all very simply. There's a little style section where I can control that. Maybe I want to take off that CAPTCHA, and maybe I want to change the background to gray. So you get the picture. Now I'm going through a lot of detail here, but I just kind of really like to let people see what is it like to use a marketing automation tool that has sophisticated power, and to do this in a way that is not so hard to actually use in real life. You know, I unchecked my CAPTCHA box, my CAPTCHA disappeared, and I changed my background to gray, and that was very easy to do. The next thing I want to highlight on these web forms is how a marketer can add actions to the web forms. Probably everyone that signs up for an event, if I'm using this as an event registration form, I probably want to add them to a CRM marketing list. So these are all my marketing lists that I have in CRM. And I can select those, and everyone that submits the form will go into a list, and I am able to use that list for a variety of things like printing name badges or letters or sending emails in a list. I can add an autoresponder where I would say thank you, and I can trigger that to be 3 hours or 3 minutes after someone fills out the form. You'll notice I can trigger a workflow. I can send myself, a team. I have a whole host of these actions that are very, very easy to use. So the power of web forms is really remarkable in CRM to give you capabilities beyond what you normally would get. And you're even able to do things like surveys with our product. And so those surveys feed the answers back to CRM in a very convenient question and answer format, just like what you see on the screen. I mentioned that you could use the forms in landing pages, and you definitely can do that very, very easily. And when you're using landing pages in the CoreMotives tool, you really get that picture quickly of what is it that's working? What are people responding to on my landing page? Tomorrow we are part of a CRM, what's called a virtual booth in a CRM expo that's called Decisions. And we have landing pages set up for people to interact with, and we are going to be able to see precisely what elements are people most interested in real time. We have dashboards set up on all of that, and CoreMotives just makes it easy for a marketer to do that. And getting started with our product, there's a training support, and we do this in many different ways with video support. We have an entire website that's devoted just to training and just to learning. So people have a home and a place where they can get started learning about our product very easily. I will actually just pull open CoreMotivesTraining.com for just a moment. This is our training website. It has live chat help. It has search. It has over 50 different languages that it can be viewed in: Japanese, French, Spanish. So your teams globally would all be supported through one source. And there is a tremendous amount of video on this. It's easy to, when you bring on as many clients as we do every week, you really need a good, clear way for people to get trained and have access to a lot of information. So you'll notice that we offer different classes, and we offer those during a European time zone and a U.S. time zone. So we do this every week with advanced and basic training classes so that everyone can get going with our product really easy. We're fortunate that we have a 98% retention rate with our client base. And we think that the reason why we do is because people can get quality information about how to solve real marketing issues and execute that with our tool in just a few minutes. So I hope that you have had a view into what it's actually like to use our product and to see that on a daily basis of how someone would in and out use our solution. As it shows on the screen, our technology is hosted by Microsoft in the what's called Windows Azure platform. So it's so easy to get started with our solution, and it only takes a few minutes. But why don't I pause for a moment? And David, I think you're back on the line with me and Corinne,
yeah.
and yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, we had a few questions from some attendees. So a question for you, Rhett, is from Laura. What versions of CRM does CoreMotives work with?
Okay, yeah, great question. I was showing the product today in CRM 2011, and that's the latest and greatest version of CRM, but we also support the version 4.0, which was the prior version. There's no difference in our functionality. It's just that the screens are arranged slightly differently, and in version 4.0 you do not have the ability out of the box to create those really cool dashboard charts. We also support version 3.0, which came out in 2005. So of all of our clients, we have a distribution. About 56% of them use CRM 2011, but as I said, we also support CRM 4.0 and CRM 3.0.
Wonderful, thank you. We also had a few more come in. Question from Kevin, how long does it take to install the product?
Okay, it takes about 15 minutes to actually provision the solution. CoreMotives has an automated provisioning tool that means that you do not have to have any files to manage or to install yourself on your own server. Our automated provisioning tool will create the custom entities that you saw on the screen that I was working in about 15 minutes, and you're live to work from that point forward.
Great. And a question from Mike. Is all the data CoreMotives collects stored in my CRM system, or is it in CoreMotives?
It is actually in CRM, so everything I was showing there, that data is all stored inside CRM. It's not like you're working in a separate application where your data is owned by another or a company of some kind, and if you stopped using their service, you would lose it. It doesn't work that way at all with CoreMotives. That's what's so great about an embedded solution, is that all of that data is right inside CRM, and it's your data, and it's safe and sound with you.
Great. And a question that came in from Tom early in the presentation, maybe David can field this question. Are there templates or instructions on how to design email templates?
There are. Tom, I'm not sure if you noticed, there are a couple of templates that Rhett showed during the presentation, but one of the things that we find often clients want to do is to take those templates and design something that goes along with their already existing corporate identity. And one of the things that our ZY Media team does is to help bridge your corporate identity into CoreMotives by designing a handful of templates for you so that you've got that based on your existing identity structure.
Great.
And that's a really great thing with like David's team. You know, they can get you up and going so fast with your exact brand identity. That's one thing we love about working with them, and we would recommend that you know, people engage in that so that you achieve the highest level of professionalism. And a team like David's can help make that happen. We definitely would recommend that.
Thank you, Rhett. And one more question that came in from Betsy. Do you offer recorded training classes as well as the live training?
Yes, we do. We offer recorded classes as well, so if you miss one, then there'll be a way for you to watch it later.
Great. Well, that's all the questions we had. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We're going to stay on the line for 5 minutes more case you have any additional questions. And again, thank you for your time. Feel free to contact David or Rhett. The email address is given on the screen, or you can call ZY Solutions at 847-242-7000. Thanks, everyone.